Blomdahl. He's a journalist, writer, and also documentary filmmaker who made Revisiting Melancholie Der Engel. So really, I just want to have a chat today really about like your work in general, your relationship with Dora, and films in general, basically. So I'll start off with really, what is it that's made you attracted to extreme horror? What got you into it? What
Well, I guess I mean, if you like something, I like films and started with liking Italian movies and American slashers back in the when I was maybe I don't know 15, 16 years old or something.
Yeah.
And when you like something, I guess I'm just curious and knowing what comes next. When you like something, you need to know to find out what else there is to it. So one thing led to another, and I mean it's basically I just like movies, so any genres, but mainly maybe horror or that area.
Right, yeah. Do you always think, like, from watching horror films, is there something like you think maybe there's more to horror, and looking at the kind of, in terms of like Dora's work and VLF that you kind of wearing the t-shirt of at the moment, which I absolutely adore those films. Do you think that there's something more to it that you wanted to kind of indulge in, and these filmmakers kind of created that for you? Do you find that way?
Well, I don't watch films that are just meant to shock for the sake of shock, to be shocking. I always assume that there is something else to it, and for me, those movies are a search for something else beyond the standard genre. So when it comes to Dora's movies, I think that he's interested in life and death, basically, and that's what he's trying to figure out.
Absolutely. Totally get that. I think he, would you say his horror films, really, I can't even really call them horror films. I think the films that are kind of stuff that are looking into almost the abyss, as Nietzsche would put it, and he's staring into it and he's allowing it to stare back onto him. I think he's really interested in the very edge of humanity. Death is definitely his number one kind of thing. Would you say that perhaps philosophically that his films are of a nihilistic nature?
Yeah, I guess they are. And I mean, there's, as you say, I don't know if you can even call them horror movies. I mean, they are horrific sometimes, but I guess they're more poetic movies or philosophical movies, as you say. And at first, I think the first movies of this I did see was Cannibal, and that was when I did see it. I did see it because I heard so many things about it, and I mean, you're always hunting for the next kind of the next move that really shook you up or makes you feel something. So I guess that was the point of watching that movie back then. But today I kind of see something else there too.
I actually think, in my opinion, Cannibal is probably his hardest film to view. I think Melancholie Der Engel, definitely is his strongest work, but I think also it's not that hard for me to watch anymore, which is pretty bad, but I really enjoy watching it. I think it is, I do feel drained when I've watched the film, because that is the whole idea of the film, really. But Cannibal, for me, even I remember 40 minutes into the film, and I felt kind of, I don't know, I just felt pure dread. And the film seems to be besotted with that, doesn't it? You know, it has this kind of strength to it that really kind of bowls you over a little bit.
Yeah, there is something about it, about his movies that makes you feel nauseous. I think that, and it's not disgust. It's a feeling of something more. It's the same with the carcinoma. I think it really gets under your skin, and
it does. Yeah.
Bits and parts are extremely uncomfortable to watch.
Yes, absolutely. Carcinoma, yeah, that's probably one of my favorites by him, actually. I just think, again, though, he's embracing death, I think, in that film. He's saying that don't be afraid, it's fine to decay, it's by nature, etc. And that's his view. And I find that very interesting. So, just like because you work with Dora and revisiting Melancholie Der Engel, how did that go out? How did it go? You know, your relationship with him, etc. How did all that go for you?
Well, I tried to contact him way back ago because no one had ever met him, or I hadn't read anything about it. There were maybe a couple of email interviews online, but otherwise nothing. So that's the beauty of writing books on these persons that you can't get a hold of them. First of all, it's very challenging.
I can imagine, yeah.
But I didn't succeed back then because there weren't any contacts, information for him. So I let that one slide back then. After a few years, I tried again, and I don't even know how I got in contact with him because I contacted so many people, persons, and in the end, he reached out to me, and in the end of it, I went down to Germany and did a first interview at a hotel, which was I wouldn't say that was scary because I was so wired up, and I was nervous about the whole interview, not just meeting him, but the whole trip and everything. So but the fact that you don't really know who you're going to meet a person that you have no clue about. You've seen his movies and you've read stuff about him, and you know what you can read about Marian Dora online. So it was I was nervous, but it turned out well. He's a guy that loves movies just like me, and it's very easy to find a common ground to stand on when you both have the same fascination. So we talked movies for that evening. After I interviewed him, we just spoke about our favorite movies, and he's been around. He's worked with just Franco and have a lot of history with David Hess and Deodato. So he has a lot of anecdotes to tell about those people. So he's quite a storyteller. And after that, I went home again, and the questions I was looking for answers for had just there were more questions afterwards than before. So I wanted to do something more, and that's when the documentary took off.
Oh, brilliant. Right. Yeah, so like would you agree, like cinematography wise, Dora's work is very much reminiscent of Jess Franco's kind of look almost? Would you say that he's kind of making a homage to his work in that way?
I think it's making a homage to a lot of directors, and it's picking up inspirations from all of his idols. When it comes to just Franco, I mean, I'm not that. I've tried to. I think I've seen maybe 10 or 15 movies, so I'm missed out of a lot of his. I think he's made a total of 300 movies or something. So, but I think they have the same. These films inside of them that they just have to make. I think they have that in common.
Yeah, absolutely. So you have a couple of books that you've written about extreme horror, which is called True Horror in English translation, which you are working on at the moment on the Indiegogo, etc. You want to release that. You want to say?
Everyone's seen it.
Yeah, I bet you're excited for that release, though, isn't it? Yeah, it's a good thing.
Yeah, hopefully it will be something. So it's, I mean, it's hard today to raise money. Those kind of books, I think.
Yeah, massively. So some of the directors that you've spoken to, interviewed for the book, namely, mostly, say, a Serbian film writer. How was that interview for you?
Well, that was, I think that was one of my first interviews, and I actually went down to him to his office.
Right.
I flew down in the morning, and I flew back in the evening again.
Right.
And that was, I think, it was one of the first interviews ever with that guy. Was with a surgeon, and he was like a very easy to talk to, and he offered me. I remember the first thing he offered me was a glass of whiskey when I got there. So we smoked cigarette and we drank some whiskey, and I was there for about an hour, I think. And he told me about the shoot of the movie and the how hard it is to shoot a movie for that. I mean, it's a movie that looks very good, that has been produced for basically a small sum of money. I think it looks amazing.
It does. The production-wise, it is absolutely amazing. That film is truly good.
Yeah, and it's also why it's so hard to reject it as just a gory film, because it looks amazing, and
it is well produced, definitely. I just, out of all the people that you interviewed for the book, was probably the most interesting, or kind of, you know.
Well, I think the first thing I did was I interviewed one of my largest idols, Jörg Butker, right, in Germany, and that was for me, that was a huge thing. I don't know I mean, his movies are, you see them, right?
Yes, of course. So I love his work. Yeah.
So that was what led me to want to do more interviews with other people, and so it's both of my books are just me meeting my idols and asking questions that me myself would like to know the answer of if I hadn't wrote the book. So it's
Yeah, brilliant. No, that's great. So would you see, like, in terms of like Dora's work, would you say that he's pretty much a bit of a philosopher of sorts? Like, just I feel like in tone of his films, like kind of they don't have such a narrative based or linear based way. They're incredibly more about the ideation of the characters that are in the film rather than a narrative. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's both the I think the upside and downside of his films, that he doesn't really have a uh, a story to tell. He's telling the story more with symbolism and images and music and I mean, he has his style, so it's not really necessary to have a start and a middle ground and an ending and stuff like that. So I think that's why people like him, and I also think that it's why he hasn't gained he's no more famous than he is.
Hmm. I was so,
I mean, he could make larger movies and gain a larger audience as well. But I don't think it's not just because he can't. It's because he doesn't want to as well, I guess.
I always thought, like, this because of the plethora of films about exorcisms and stuff like that. I always thought if he made a film on an exorcism, it would be amazing. I think they do really, really well. Such a good job of it. I really do.
I also think it's because he makes everything for himself. And it's that's a choice made as well, I guess. It's he wants to do everything his own way, and he doesn't want to have interference from other persons. But I mean, I'm hoping for that he would change his mind in the future and maybe do a larger scale of a movie.
Yeah, it's imagining with a budget.
Very interesting.
Imagine with a massive budget.
Yeah.
You know,
it's great. He did make that short for German Angst.
That's right. Yeah.
It was pretty good. It was his first film for ages, and in that way, it's very impressive, I guess.
And he did the short for Profane Exhibit as well, doesn't he? Is that?
But correct.
Yeah.
No.
Oh no, sorry, Dora. He did a short film for the Profane Exhibit, which that wasn't released in the end, was it? Which was strange.
No, I think Unearth's going to release it in
that's right. Yeah.
Maybe 2021, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's delayed so many times, so it's I don't know.
I know. Yeah. But they're working on.
Like it's been. It's the movie's lost something with all these rumors and years that has passed since since the news was declared. We're kind of one of the rumors from the beginning was that Lucifer Valentine was going to direct one of the episodes.
Oh, right.
That would have been interesting, I guess.
I love Valentine's work. I've actually just watched the Angela chapters just the other day. I haven't seen it.
Was it good?
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's a really good experimental piece of filmmaking that I really enjoyed about. It's all like vignettes of different girls that he kind of talks to, etc. Talks about their problems and their issues. And what I like about Valentine is that he kind of exposes the societal negativity of how it induces on different individuals and stuff. I find that really interesting, but it's almost like he embraces that as well.
But is that movie, isn't it sort of a mixtape of from Black Lava's releases before?
That's right, yeah. So it's segments. Yeah, it is different segments, and then like new segments in the later some of the later videos. So yeah, really interesting. I really liked it, but I will be reviewing that at some point on here. So like, yeah, Serbian Film is getting a new uncut release from Unearthed. I believe I've already have the uncut version.
I think so too. They're supposed to release. I think they're releasing one edition now, and in a few months, I guess they're releasing another edition with the documentary.
That's
also,
right.
and the longer version. I think so. So I think they're Unearthed are going to release two discs. I don't know what it's going to be, because I also thought that there weren't any more violent parts to include in the film. It should be interesting.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
documentary. It's going to be great.
The documentary would be really good. Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that. And hopefully I've got Stephen Byro on here at some point, so I'll be able to chat to him about it a bit more, hopefully.
Yeah.
Also, Dimitriano Cristofaro, the Tetra Video distribution. Yeah. He's going to be on here too. I've just ordered some of his films, actually. I've been waiting for him to come, actually. House of Mannequins.
Yeah.
Have you seen?
He's so productive. So I haven't seen that many of his stuff, but I've seen the what's it called, Torment by Adam Ford. I think it produced it, Domiciano. And I also did see Mikel Balerides' Larva Mental.
All right, yeah.
He produced as well. It's going to be released in the beginning of next year, I think, by Tetra as well. So it's I don't know what to think of his movies, but what you can say is that he's so productive. He it seems like he never sleeps.
No, I know. He's
all the time.
He does. He
so
does
many movies.
Very passionate.
Always.
Very passionate guy.
Yeah.
About film. I've also tried to get in touch with the director of VLF, but he's Marco Malayo. It's kind of hard to get in touch with.
It's hard.
Yeah.
I did want to go down to Italy and interview him. I only done for my latest Swedish book. I did an email interview with him.
Right.
And I wanted to make a more in-depth interview on the spots where he lives, but it didn't turn out that way.
Right.
But it should be very interesting because it feels like he's been, the internet Marco and how he acts online. And he can be very rude, but also very interesting. So
yeah, of course.
To be a fly on the wall of one of his movies would be make for a great chapter, I guess.
Yeah, he pulls no punches, does he? He's not afraid of how far to go.
No.
Some of the Channel 309 films, I've only got the first 6 parts so far. I've not got those 7 to 9 at the moment. Actually, I need to get them. But they're so short, but at the same time, they're so brutal and so kind of like just by a short segment, you're just like, what's but that's extreme horror at its best, really. And some people think it's pornographic, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it has elements of that, but if you're turned on by that, then there's something wrong with you, really.
yeah, I think so too. It depends on how you define porn, I guess. If you're drawing if you make it boundary by, when you see someone's genitals, or if they have sex on screen, I guess it's porn. But it's interesting because it's not exciting. So therefore, it's interesting to know why he makes the films.
That's a really good point. I don't think he makes it for arouse people. I think he's making it to push the boundaries, definitely. He also has this kind of like Gnostic kind of almost satanic kind of slant to his films as well, to give it a bit of edge and stuff. But I don't know if I'm right about that, but that's the way it feels from
I think
films.
I think it's really hard to interview him because he has his point of view, and I don't think he's going to agree upon any other points of views, I guess. So it can be very hard to interview. But it was easy. It was easy when you're just typing to. When you don't have to deal with explaining stuff, and I mean his philosophy can be hard to understand, and it can be hard to it's I mean I don't know what he's talking about most of the time, but it's I like his style. It's like the same category as Lucifer Valentine, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I think he has a feel of like, say, some of the old Aphex Twin videos. I don't know if that comes across to you in that kind of way. The way it's cut, the way it's edited, and use of music, and just the way it comes across. It reminds me of like quite a lot. I don't know if he's influenced by that kind of stuff, but no, it's quite interesting. So for yourself, any future projects that you've got on the go or planning to do?
Well, yeah, right now I'm working on my third book, and it takes time because I have 3 kids, and I try to make some money for all of us. So it's I have to working part-time as an editor, making these educational movies for school kids, and at the same time trying to finish this book. That is it's similar to my other books in the way of it's interview based, but it's more extreme, I guess, in one sense, but in another sense, it's more I wouldn't say normal, but it deals with the borders between fiction and porn, I guess. So it's I'm interviewing people that deals with sex in the movies and different kinds of sex, which seems maybe well, it's hard to explain, but it's have you seen C. Huston's Portraits of Andrea Palmer?
Yes, brilliant film.
So I met him, and I met a few directors that make similar movies to that.
Right.
So it's in some sense they're very small movies, and there are larger movies that deals with same stuff, like Lars von Trier's maybe that transition as well in some of his movies. So maybe I think I made 4 interviews now, and there are longer chapters, and more like a traveler journey journal mixed with the meeting of these persons that I find to be interesting.
Do you think there could be a documentary out of that, or?
I filmed my first 2 interviews. I went to LA last year and met C. Huston and Sam Hell that runs Burrow Cows.
Right, yeah.
So I filmed those interviews. So I don't know what it is going to be, but it's maybe I'll use them for a digital link to the chapter in the book, so you can just see the interview as well as reading it. So it's
I think
I think that would work. And a few months ago, I spoke to a guy called Daniel Valiant, also known as White Gardenia, and he's made a segment for a Tetro release called XXX Dark Web.
Yes.
I think it's called, yeah.
That's on Tetro video as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
yeah.
And where he actually he cuts his one of his fingers off in the segment, and then his partner or his friend fries it up in a frying pan, and he tries to eat it afterwards. That was the first time in ages that I've been upset by looking at something in a movie, and it was also the only segment in that film that felt authentic, which it was, but it felt like this is something you can actually find on the dark web. Like it's been lying around, and Domiziano just found it there and pressed it on DVD. Yeah. It's a really strange experience and really nauseating as well.
I think that's the other film that I've ordered actually with House of Mannequins. So yeah, I need to.
Oh, hope I didn't spoil it for you.
No, don't worry. It's fine. I'm looking forward to it. Well, kind of looking forward to it, but
I mean, it's great. Right. His segment is a mixture of David Lynch and early 70s movies. It's really it's weird. No. Yeah, and impressive.
Yeah, I've chatted to C. Houston, the director of Portraits of Mount the Park. He's a really nice guy, and I think, like with that kind of film, people go, "Oh, you're just exploiting the female." No, not really. I think it's really tackling the moral idea about the people in the porn industry. Yeah, I think it really does find a good, a really strong horror story within that. Yeah. Like, you know, because that does happen.
But it's cool. I mean, it is a celebration to the exploitation genre, and like one of those films. I think it captures the original exploitation movies superb. Have you seen Forced Entry and
yes, Forced Entry. It's one of my favorite films.
Yeah, it could have been made back then, and it really looks like one of those genre films from the 70s. It's
what do you think the thin line between like those kind of directors who are extreme but are kind of more celebrated than the filmmakers we're talking about today, but say like Gaspar Noé, Lars von Trier, who tackle kind of ideas that you would say in the mainstream, which I think they are mainstream pretty much. They tackle the same ideas, but how come they're popular, but say like Dora or Raymer and stuff like that?
I have no idea. I mean, Gaspar Noé's first movie was really. Have you seen it?
Saw Country. I Stand Alone.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, his career might as well have stopped after that movie because it's very similar to a movie that doesn't go anywhere career-wise afterwards. But some way did succeed in stepping it up, maybe, or making it. I mean, Irreversible is more. It looks better, I guess, and it feels more. Maybe it's a question of budget. I don't know, or just how far you can push yourself, maybe in making something that's more available to a larger audience. But I would say that I like his first movie the best.
Right.
I think it's. It doesn't feel as polished as his later movies, and it is often, for me, it's often the first movies of a great director that often is one of the best movies, because they don't really know how to make a movie when they do that. Just they're learning once while making the film, and it has no filters. So it's I'm trying to think about someone else like him, but well, yeah.
There's a lot of extreme filmmakers out there that are in the mainstream that you wouldn't normally think of, that you call extreme, but they do tackle extreme ideas. I mean, Lars von Trier is he's a funny guy. I actually found the house that Jack built hilarious. I thought it was so funny. But obviously he's got a dark humor. And the time when he was at Cannes and you mentioned about Nazis and stuff like that, I was laughing because I got him. I know what he's like. He's an idiot like that. But why people have to take him so seriously? People know that he's humorous and that's what he's doing. That's
I think it's also really kind of uncomfortable and nervous in the larger with larger audiences, so maybe he doesn't always know what he says. Well, I don't know. He's great in a way, I think, and I think it's as you say, the house Jack built is one of his. I think it's actually one of his better movies. Very entertaining and very funny. Which I don't know if you're allowed to say that, but it's actually it is really funny and horrific. And I mean, it's like a bit pretentious, of course. It's tree, but it gets away with it.
Yeah, I remember because I was watching we were watching the first 20 minutes of it, and my girlfriend was watching it with me. I was laughing, and she was like, "Why are you laughing?" It's the preposterousness of it. It's stupid. It's like, it's not funny. It's weird. It's killing people. I just still think it's funny.
I mean, it's so over the top. So it's
it's
really hard to take it seriously when he shoots those children from the tower. So outrageous. So
you shouldn't laugh, but it's one of them, and I think it's fresh. It's a fresh vision.
And I think it's really good at jumping from something extreme that's laughable and then taking it to another side where you can't laugh because it's dark in the right way.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a couple of scenes in it where I felt it's kind of unnerving. It's kind of upsetting.
Yeah.
Matt Dillon does a superb job.
Yeah, it's great.
Absolutely brilliant. It's a shame like such films don't get noted like for awards and stuff like that, And Antichrist is probably my favorite Lars von Trier film.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
I remember seeing it at the cinema. I didn't know what I was going into. I knew of von Trier's work, but when I read an interview just before going in, and he was stating how he made it due to his depression. I thought, this could be interesting. So until the fox comes out of nowhere and speaks chaos reigns, you just think, okay, we're in for a ride here. But absolutely brilliant film. I love his work. Von Trier is probably my favorite director.
I mean, I've been trying to contact him for about 3 or 4 times, I think, once every year, but it's hard to get an interview with him.
I bet it is. I don't think it's his favorite thing, is it?
No.
Because I see him in interviews and he's very nervous. He's a very neurotic person, isn't he? But yeah, he's a bit of a genius, though, isn't he? So, have you got any more like documentaries you think you might be making? Or
it's I want to do so many things, but it's a question of money. I think that's the only question.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Money, but it's and then the fact that I'm alone as well. I don't really work with anyone, so it's a one-man job. But hopefully, when things looks a bit better regarding, we can travel again. Something might happen, but I really want this next book to be a book where I'm actually 100% just meeting people physically, and so it's no phone interviews and stuff like that, just face-to-face meetings.
Okay, yeah. Oh, great stuff. Oh, brilliant. It is difficult at the moment, isn't it, with all this pandemic?
It's so boring.
I don't, can't do anything, can you? So this is why I started this channel, really. It was something to like deter me away or distract me away from the whole thing that's happening. But hopefully it'll come into something good. So I'm going to work hard on it. And,
so just have a tip for before I forget it. One of the best movies I've seen in a long time is a film called Simon Killer.
Yes.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, the American who lives in Paris at the time.
Yeah. It's great. I loved it. And I also liked this. I think the director's name is Antonio Campos, I think.
Yeah.
And he made a movie called Christine afterwards, about a news anchor that shoots herself.
Christine Chubbuck, yes, the person who shot herself live. Yeah, it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. His work is really good. Also, one that I recently watched, I was quite shocked at how much I enjoyed it, and it was directed by someone I was kind of shocked about hearing about. He is a musician, but I've forgotten the name of the film now. And Natalie Portman, Fox Lux. She's a singer, musician. She grows up from a trauma of being in a school shooting.
Yeah, and she becomes a musician, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, seen it. That's good.
Yeah. Yes, I thought it's a really good film. And then I was shocked to hear who it was by, which at the moment my knowledge is not working, but I'm pretty sure it's a musician. He turned director for this film. I was quite taken aback by who it was by.
I'm not kind of surprised that it hasn't. I did see it, but then I haven't read anything about it afterwards. Not until now, actually. So it's
it was a big release, but it didn't really attract much of a big audience. And I think really when I watched it, I thought, yeah, definitely this doesn't have that kind of mainstream vibe to it. There's a very
definitely not. But she was great in it. I think
Portman's always. I think she's always good in films ever since Leon. I think. I mean, she's done some poor stuff, but
what do you think about Annihilation? Annihilation.
Loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Me too.
I think I enjoyed Ex Machina more because it's by the same writer.
Yeah, the director, right?
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, I think there's still a lot of stuff like you can embrace that's in the mainstream that still has that kind of edge to it, that way you think not many people will like this. And I think you get that with a lot of David Lynch kind of stuff as well. Twin Peaks: The Return, I think, was one of the best TV events I ever witnessed. I thought it was absolutely amazing.
I'm not that positive. I thought that maybe the half of it was amazing, and the other half was well, I did see the whole series, so I mean, and the final was superb. I think this was one of the best endings in a series. But I had some problems with it regarding it didn't feel like that he knew what he was doing.
I think he does that all the time, though. I think he makes it up as he goes along, doesn't he? I'm not gonna lie. I think he does that. He just goes. He comes up with a title. He comes up with the basis, and then he just goes, "Oh, we'll shoot this today." All right. And then it just works.
I'm just missing the old Lynch, you know, the Blue Velvet Lynch and Wild Heart Lynch and early Twin Peaks as well. He's one of my favorite directors.
Yeah, same.
And have you seen the documentary about him? I think one of the latest ones.
Is it the Art Life?
I think so.
Art
Yes.
Life of David. Yeah.
That one when he's speaking with his daughter, she's sitting in the studio.
That's right.
Beautiful scene. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think some of her work is really good as well.
Yeah. Have you read the book? I think it's called the same thing, The Art of Life.
Oh right. No,
or the Art Life or something. It's a book like 700 pages or something.
Right.
Where he works with a journalist and the journalist writes a biography on Lynch, and she writes about parts of his life in a chapter, and then Lynch writes about
himself. Yeah, I've just finished the book actually. Sorry, yeah. It's not called The Outlet. What's it called? Well, mine is just downstairs, but I've got to grab it. But no, it was a brilliant
book. When I read that, it was like, David Lynch must be one of the best persons out there.
Oh, absolutely. He's got great humor as well. Yeah. And you think someone who, you know, writes and directs such kind of dark material in certain ways, his humor is brilliant, and you can capture that in quite a lot of his stuff, like especially Twin Peaks, anyway. But I think for me, I think Twin Peaks Fire Walk With Me is my favorite Lynch film.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I think.
Did you write a journal back then?
Yeah. Absolutely. No, I love it. So yeah, but just want to thank you for being a part of this and having this chat. It's been really, really good. I hope to edit it within this week. Yeah, and I'll get it up onto the channel. So it's going to be one angle because I've just got this try and get that Zoom working at some point. Yeah. But yeah, I'll try and make the most of it. And
I think we can blame the Zoom on me, maybe.
Yeah, I will complain to them. That's like, I paid for this. Why can't I not hear anybody?
But isn't there? Did you pay for your Zoom?
Yeah, I just paid like a subscription, like monthly. So because I'm going to do this quite a bit, I just thought, well,
that might be why mine doesn't work. When you give for free, you might remove the audio, maybe.
Oh, you got a good point. That is a pain in the ass, isn't it? Corporate. Too corporate.
Well, thank you, Craig.
Yeah, thank you, Magnus. Thank you very much. It's been really good. You take care, mate. Thank you very much. See you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.